Hello, I am Monica.
And I'm Jessica. Today we invited two guests from Princeton High School, both of whom immigrated from China.
And they will share their first-hand experiences on the difficulties and lessons learned during this immigration process to eventually finding their own identities in the society. Enjoy!
Bye.
Hello.
Hello, we are
We're
Princeton
Princeton
Connect. Today we are here with Amanda and Boyu, and they're going to talk about their immigration experience.
So could you tell us a bit about your immigration experience? Like what grade were you in when you first moved to the US? And so how many years now?
So I'll go first. I came to US the summer of 2014, which I finished my 5th grade in China, and I came here. So it was 6 years ago, about.
Cool.
So I came here in the middle of 7th grade. It was the winter of 2015. It's about almost 5 years now.
Nice. Okay, next question.
So what was your first impression on Americans or America as a whole? Like, was it different from your expectations? Like, was there a stereotype of Americans when you were in China? Anything like that?
Actually no, because I was pretty young when I came here, so I don't quite have any expectation to America as a whole. So I just came here because my mom said we should immigrate, and it's better education, I guess. And impression, I guess like the American kids here are like pretty understanding, and the teachers to the fact that my English isn't too good back then, and they're pretty inclusive too.
Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Amanda?
My impression was really good of America initially. Well, still now, not initially, but the people were really, really friendly. I think that was what surprised me. Like in China, no one would smile at you on the street. But I remember so clearly when I first came here and lived here, when I walked down the street, even if you see a stranger, they would smile and you say hi. I think that's something that kind of really shocked me initially. So the people were really friendly. I think the school, I came here when I was in middle school, so obviously it was quite easy for me, especially math.
Oh, so does that mean that you already had some English experience, or was it still difficult for you to speak English? Was it a language barrier?
So it was definitely difficult for me initially. I learned quite a lot of English back in China. I went to an international school for a year right before I came here.
Same.
It's
not that bad.
But it was, I would say it was still some challenge for me for sure. Like it's different when you're learning English in China, when you're trying to, actually memorize the vocabularies versus actually having to speak it to a foreigner and like having a conversation in English.
I see. Okay.
So were there any instances where you felt like you didn't fit in, or like due to the language barrier, like socially or anything like that?
I think it's really the cultural differences. Like when I in choir, because I joined choir since like 6th grade, since when I came here, like sometimes like in the free time, like people have their own friend groups, right? And like if I try to join, I don't know what to talk about with them, so it's feeling alone, like being left out.
So how did you open yourself up? Like how would you like reach out to other people?
I don't know. I'm not.
Or did you just like find Chinese friends at first?
Oh no. Like I'll find like 1 or 2 very good friends, and then like they will introduce me into that group. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
I think
Amanda?
I think I definitely connect with Boyu in that it's that cultural differences that you don't have anything to talk about initially. I remember people would talk about like Netflix. They'd be like, oh, Netflix and chill and whatever, But I just didn't know anything. Like I didn't watch American TV shows. I used to listen to American pop songs, but I just like that wasn't something you always talk about. Sometimes they come up with some new topics and you can't catch up because you didn't live in that environment. So what my approach was that the very first American friend I actually made, we connected through anime. So I loved anime back in China. I still love it today. She's also a big anime watcher, and so we would talk about things like that. And even talking about anime was kind of difficult because they have English names that are completely
Oh,
different.
right, yeah, that's so me.
And I think people were really open to me. They would even for some people who don't really know what to talk to me about, they would still come up and say hi, like ask me Chinese and stuff like that. So
that's nice. Okay.
So up to today, do you feel like you're more Americans or Chinese or both? Like, what would you think?
I'm still very Chinese. Like, I haven't yet adapted to American culture that much. It's, I think, just because of me, because personally, I don't listen to that much like American pop songs, like, or watch any TV shows. I still don't watch Netflix, and I don't use Facebook that often. Snapchat, no.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So like not that typical American teenage.
No,
life.
yeah. Of course not.
Okay. Amanda, do you have anything to say?
I think for me, I would also say Chinese, but I think that is just only because, well, part of it is also because I've lived in China my entire childhood. It's like that cultural mark is forever on me, and I don't want to banish it in any means because it's like it's treasure to me. Like I'm proud of my background. There used to be a time where I wanted to like completely banish whatever Chinese to me and then just trying to fit in, but I just think that there was this one time I saw this quote and saying that if you don't even respect your own people, how would you have other people respect you? And I think it's very true. So right now I think very Chinese. Obviously I love American culture, but I would also always remember my roots.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, when you first came here, what were some like cultural differences? Like, how do you how do you identify yourself as Chinese? Like, what do you think is different from like the American and Chinese culture?
I can say one thing that it's not very serious, but it just popped up in my mind. I think American people are definitely more open, or I should say Chinese people are typically more shy to open up themselves and talk. That is definitely true because I just remember I'm not a very shy person, but I remember coming here in class and teacher would ask questions, right? And so many people raise their hand and answer the question, but that's a completely different thing in China. Like everyone would be quiet when the teacher asked the question and they'd be like looking at people to point at. And I was so surprised when I came here. Like sometimes I think about answering a question and everyone else just like, oh, me.
Yeah. Definitely get that like feeling because I think we Chinese people, we usually think of the like a must be correct answer before we raise our hands. But like that's not the case for me.
Yeah. So could you tell us some instances where you felt like you really felt the cultural difference and something that like maybe you can do in China but wouldn't be able to do here? Things like that.
Okay, so there's a
difficulties you encounter.
pretty fun thing. It's like funny thing is like it's so much to do like a sleepover like in China compared to America. So like I've done like a few sleepovers with my like not technically American friends but ABC friends. Like it's so much harder like the process like because you have to get like your parents like informed really early in advance in order to do the sleepover. But like in China it's at least to me because my mom don't care that much, but like in this case like the other people care, so you have to cooperate with them. So I guess it's much difficult. And it's a really big like difference.
And I think like you really need to respect what your like friends' family think.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Amanda?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's exactly my personal experience, but just overall, I just feel like in America they really stress this idea of individuality a lot. I feel like in our Chinese household, kids are sort of, it's really part of the family, and you kind of like not just under control, but I guess you're like just, part of this family thing together. But I feel like in America, it kind of surprises me how many kids would, make their own decisions and like go out to work, have like actually try to, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how to guess it.
Yeah, like
like American kids are more independent, but Chinese kids might
I
be.
feel like it's almost like, you know, like in China we have this, like, if the kids go old and then they started working, the parents might come and live with them in the future and stuff, but that doesn't really happen in America, right? People are just like, oh, once you're 18 you're out.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so what are some advice you would give to immigrated students, like new immigrants, when they first came?
Can I go?
Yeah.
I say really try to put yourself out there, speak as much English as possible, and when you first came here, do not just stick with the Chinese friends and only having Chinese friend group, because that's really going to limit the amount of people you meet, the experience you have, how much English you will speak, you know. And sometimes when you're settled in a group, you're not stepping out of your comfort zone, you get too comfortable with it and you just never decided to push yourself out again, and that's just wasting the whole point of coming to America, I think.
Yeah.
Right. It really connects to like what I want to say is like just 2 words: be confident. Like be open yourself, like confident. Reach out to other people. They understand you. Like they're nice. They won't like discriminate you or something. So just be open, like open yourself to the challenges or not. Like because English, you learn English from practicing, because this is America, right? So yeah.
And I also just think that treat everyone as just a person, you know, don't look at skin color, cultural background, family background, like be yourself, and then treat other people as a person. And then I think just like, because when I first came here, I don't know if this is going too long, but when I first came here, I was really, really scared to talk to, you know, people that are different color from me, speak different language from me. But then you realize, you know, we connect not just through words, but through feelings. We connect through actions. We connect through here, you know?
Yeah, exactly. When I just came here, I was in ESL. Like, it's really like, because there's people from Israel, from France, like from everywhere, like around the world. But, like, and we all aren't so good at English, but I made my best friends like back in 6th grade in ESL, because connect through emotions, not through the language only, not only through language.
There's always like this connection, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a wrap. Thank you guys for coming here with us. We really enjoyed your stories.
Yeah, thank you so much
for having us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.
See you.